Welcome back, Dodecadorks. We're the 12-sided guys. We have Scott as Ornan. Toonces. No, wait. Calden?
At your service.
Sabrina as Sally. I'm poor, but not too poor to afford this place. Sylvie, I think.
Oh, hello.
Matt as Ross Lacrosse, Wilhelm Lionstorm? Or is it Sleeve McDykel? Little Willie Klompenmacher? No, wait, it's Guy.
That is all of my names. Don't wear them out.
And me, Paul, as, I don't even know anymore, Matthew Mercer? Okay, here goes. Hello, everyone, and welcome to tonight's episode of 12-Sided Guys, where a bunch of us nerdy-ass, computer guys sit around and play Dungeons & Dragons.
I don't think we're all computer guys.
Yeah, that's not working for me.
Computer guys. I'm not a computer guy, Paul.
Well, how about I just be Paul this time? Well, just two things I want to mention. First, we love chatting over on Discord, so you should go and join our community. Share your thoughts about the episodes like Jacob and Tyler do. You can also share a bit about yourself so we can get to know you. You know, things like pictures of your homemade mead. Thanks, Crimson Crown. Your Pine cosplay jacket. Great work, Maddie. Or your Daredevil Winnie the Pooh potato. Thanks, Jordan. Or you can even just share things like your mother's maiden name, childhood pet, and your old high school mascot. You know, like the last 4 digits is your social security number, that sort of thing.
Yeah, who was your favorite high school teacher?
Second, just a reminder that you can get bonus content by becoming a patron over on Patreon. Kathleen recently became a patron and now has access to your neighbor's potatoes as well as our character sheets. So far, she says being a patron is Russet-rific, Tater-tastic, and Yukon Gold.
And that's a direct quote.
Yes.
Anyway, if you ever destroyed the vile Red Falcon and saved the universe, you should consider yourself a hero. And this podcast is for you. It's Chorus of the Forsaken, episode 57.
Up, down, down. Left, right, left, right.
Yeah, I love that game.
You have destroyed the vile Red Falcon and saved the universe. Consider yourself a hero.
I will.
Yeah.
The end.
I'll do a bunch of flips with a machine gun. That's what I'll do.
Those guys were definitely contortionists. So there's no way they could get that small, like a regular person could get that small while jumping.
Front tucks.
They're actually Samus from Metroid's little brothers.
Oh, gotcha.
Oh.
Okay, yeah.
Very good. Well, welcome back to Chorus of the Forsaken campaign in Via Severia, the city of Kladvina. Last time we were together. We had some errands to run. So first off, Guy sold back his helmet to Ileana Emberglow, who came running in.
I just want to say, maybe you want to start this again. It was more than just errands. It was cool. It was cool.
Sure. You guys had some appointments to cancel. You guys had to return some
We're
things
busy
to the
people.
store.
We had a busy schedule.
There's plenty we did.
Oil change and tire rotation.
Yeah, all very important things.
There was a checklist and we moved through it.
Well, first off, Ileana Amberglow came rushing inside of the Grand Towers Hotel and just kind of motioned to you, give me that helmet. And she grabbed it and ran back out. You notice she was dressed for battle, and you assume she must be in the Feast of Sweets tournament today and wanted her helmet for that tournament.
You spent more time recapping that interaction than we actually recorded last time about that interaction.
I think you're actually right. But then you went down to the restaurant there in the lobby of the Grand Towers Hotel, and you had breakfast with Neldor and his sister Shireen Shadowrose, discussing some very important things, including that Shireen had set up a meeting at Vandalay Industries for the afternoon, and you discussed potential goings-on. I always say that. Is that a real term, goings-on?
You know it.
Okay, cool. Some potential goings-on way back in Martin's Rest with the Temple of Helm, and possibly that staff, the broken spear that you had gotten from Megan's backpack. And you finally had a conversation with Neldor about that.
We mentioned nothing about the fact that there is a map in their house to a sleeping dragon under the lake.
That's
we
true, you guys.
Took care of it.
I also forgot that we talked about Eggs Benedict, and there were some of us who didn't know what those were, and then we talked about how good they are.
Yes, you guys did have Eggs Benedict. Also, you guys did mention, you mentioned, Guy, that potentially Daria was tied to the fracas in Martin's Rest, and you were going to do some more investigating, and he wanted you to keep him in the loop about that.
So we bought more tickets, so we can all go have backstage passes.
Yes, you did go buy more tickets. Then you all decided to go check in on Mogram and see how he was doing. Annalise was there and reported that there had been no change in Mogram since you guys had last seen him. But she did also mention that she also had a vision while you guys were in the hotel and you had your visions. And she saw Peter talking with somebody, talking about how as long as he paid his dues, that the prosperous path would stay off of his back. And also, it seemed that he was packing up and getting ready to leave and travel somewhere, but not like you guys travel like schlubs.
Yeah, fancy travel, you said.
Yeah, we're talking fancy travel.
Like a Greyhound bus instead of a Volkswagen bus.
Sure. We're talking Southwest instead of Spirit.
Ooh.
Yes. Then you guys decided to split up to go cover more ground. Sylvie went to the Isle of Mears, where she had some conversations with Grolin Roomglow, who is...
The Oracle.
Yeah, the Oracle of Savras here in town. He sits upon the Council of Clerics, which is one of two houses of Congress, basically, that run the barony of Pythria under the Baroness. He showed her around the temple, which was this beautiful building on its own island. There were pools of water, perfectly still water, inside the temple, as well as mirrors on almost all the walls. It was kind of dim and dark in there, as all the windows, the few windows that there were, had all been covered with curtains to not allow any light in. And Grolum took Sylvie into his office, and they discussed the hive. He mentioned that what Sylvie was doing was incredibly dangerous, and he recommended
brave.
Yeah, dangerous but brave, yes. He recommended that she go home. Sylvie decided that she needed to stay and fulfill her mission, as well as these other things that she'd been dragged into, including these visions of Oak Road and the tombs beneath the Temple of Kelemvor. So Grolum then told Sylvie of some of his divinations that he had been receiving, and then he also read some divinations directly upon Sylvie. Some of them included a raven that was going towards Sylvie's face and an arrow that was going towards the back of her head. Also a map that bore the name of Sylvie as a city, and Grolum let Sylvie know that this is her home, this city named Sylvie.
There was a brown and green butterfly with a silver spider coming at it, with a bunch of other already things wrapped up.
Yes, there was.
There's so many things.
Yes. Oh, there was also an Aeonin in black robes trimmed in gold, tied to a post, and fire was licking the bottom of their feet.
Hey, I'm not going to kink shame if you like having your feet licked.
Also, these two waves were coming crashing towards this castle, and Grolum informed you that the castle represented Kladvina itself. There was an intricate anvil with an elaborately filigreed spearhead waiting, a hammer in hand, waiting for a missing piece. And then there was an owl that fell out of a tree and lied as if dead, then suddenly spread its wings and rose. Then we went and followed Ornan and Guy, who went to the Tempestarium to talk with Swordmaster Gelmar, the head of the Tempestarium, the head acolyte of Tempest, the god of battles, and the person in charge of the Feast of Sweets tournament. He informed you that, yes, he had taken you guys off of the lists, and you would not be forced to fight. You then were confronted by Ernesto Stonelance, the man who you were supposed to fight, him and his vanguard. And he basically
Oh, yeah.
shamed you for being... He's also really attractive. He's got like that dark hair and that really nice, like slightly curled mustache.
He just wanted to get up close and personal with us, and he's sad he's not going to touch us.
His mustache was fantastic.
I've seen better looking. In the mirror.
God damn it.
You were taken off the lists. And then as Ornan said that he might actually be interested in fighting, that there was potentially a team who might be short one person. And we cut over to the B-side where Kaldin was concerned about fighting in the arena and decided to back out. And the last thing that we heard was Swordmaster Gelmar calling up and saying, "Toonses, you're in." And that's where we're at right now. So we are still at the Tempestarium. We have Ornan heading down the hallway to go follow Swordmaster Gelmar towards the barracks, this locker room, basically, where he will be meeting his new team. And we have Kaldin Silvercrest leaving his room at the very end of this hallway. And Ornan and Kaldin see each other down the hall. We have Guy is still back.
Kaldin, how are you? Well, it's been some time. Ornan.
That was so quick. There was no pause between the voices, Scott. Jeez.
Pretty good, dude.
Gelmar turns to Kaldin and says, "Well, if you're not competing, I need you out of here. This is for competitors only."
Oh, I'm on my way. Don't worry.
So Kaldin then leaves this hallway as Ornan goes into the locker room to see the team he will be fighting with.
Ornan notices Liwix down the hall as he's walking past and says, I'll sure be fighting this time.
As you're walking down the hall, you can see there's like a branch off. You can see there's these doorways along this hallway, and these doors are not ornate. There's pieces of paper that are posted up by each door, and you can see that the one that you're passing currently, the first one that you come to on the left, is labeled as the Grimfangs, and then the next one is Torgal's Tuskers, and on the other side you see that there is a room for Wilhelm Associates, and then you see that the last two on the hall, the one on the right is the Razorwind Warband, and then the one on the left is the B-side. But down a side hall, you can see the Giants of Gaul are standing outside of their room talking, and you do see Liwix. You also see outside of another room, you see Ernesto Stonelance, and at the far end of that other hall, you can see Ileana Amberglow is talking with some people who it looks like are in her group.
Which door is she in front of?
She's at the far end of the hall. You can't see the name on the door, but you can, by process of elimination, you can determine that she is a member of the Dawnfire Brigade.
Fire, because it's her, because she's a fire genasi.
Okay.
Yeah, you see Liwix, and she kind of looks at you and she says, "I thought you weren't fighting."
Well, an opportunity arose, and I'll be in the tournament. Perhaps we'll cross weapons soon. On the field.
Instead of just in the bedroom.
She turns to the guy next to her and she says, "Audrey, be careful. This one has a lot of stamina." And then she walks back into her locker room.
Ornan blushes hard.
Oh my gosh. Ornan, you move down to the last room on the left. You can see as you walk in some familiar faces. You see this elvish woman who has been pushed off of balconies.
Stop, dude. There's so much more to her than just balcony falling.
Describe who Ornan sees as he comes into this room. I'll first say that you do see an kind of an out of work tanner. Looks to be like stropping his dagger.
Stropping?
Yeah,
Stropping?
like his dagger on a leather strap. Isn't that stropping?
Could be.
I've never heard. It sounds like you made up a word, Paul.
Okay, you guys describe the characters that he sees while I look up what stropping is. Yeah, you strop a knife, dude. You strop a knife.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. You polish the edge of a knife. It's called stropping. It's the final step in sharpening.
I think Paul's stropping us right now.
I can promise you I've never stropped anything in my life, but...
You see this elvish woman with red hair. Looks very familiar. She's in her early 20s. You recognize her from Barograd as one of the Valiant Vanguard, who apparently got pushed up a balcony once.
Serena, it's been so long.
Ornan, Hey, sorry, just a second. I was stropping my kukri.
You're stropping your character description.
I was dropping my kukri. Give me. She'll put away her kukri, and then she'll go over and say, "It's good to see you. What are you doing here?"
Well, apparently I'm fighting alongside you in the tournament.
Wow, I didn't expect to see you here. You will notice that she is looking a little leaner, a little tighter, more worn, more maybe battle hardened is the right way to describe it.
Okay.
You also see another figure that you recognize. Sabrina, who else does Ornan see in here?
The biggest, buffest, best guard you've ever seen, although no longer guarding.
Gardenia!
Gardenia will kind of look up at you, and then we'll go back to pumping some iron.
Oh, she's not stropping her sword.
No, she's busy. She's getting those muscle sweats up.
It's also been so long. I'm so glad to see you're well, Gardenia.
No, you're saying it wrong.
Well, you're right. I did say it wrong. Gardenia or
I thought it was Gardenia.
It's good to see you too. I hope you brought some of that brew for celebration.
Well, as this is going on, as Ornan is getting acquainted with his new B-side companions, you guys would know that you guys are not the first bout of the day, but you guys have to kind of be in here as the crowd starts to fill in the stadium and everything, so Swordmaster Gelmar can go over some of the rules, can go over like how this is all going to play out. He's going to show you the elevator lift that takes you into the fighting sands, the pit of the Tempestarium. He tells you about the ruins that are in there that you can use for like cover, that kind of thing. So he's just going to go over some of that. Also remind you guys that it's not to the death.
Yeah, do we have like blunted weapons or something? Or are we using our own weapons? Just make sure not to actually stab with your very sharp stabby things.
My hammer can't kill anyone, so I can just bring people back to life if they die by whacking them.
As you do.
Yes, we're going to kind of play this part similar to when Pine had a duel with the other Swordmaster way back in our last campaign. What was his name again?
He was the son of the usurper of
Yes.
of Pine's title. I can't remember what his name was though.
Yeah. Well, anyway, yeah. So
Throw it in the comments on Discord.
Yeah, tell us what his name was. But yeah, we're just going to be playing it like you just use all your skills that you want to use, and we'll just say that once you hit 0 hit points, you are either disarmed or you are knocked unconscious or whatever the case may be. But that is all happening here in the barracks area, and Kalden is actually leaving, walking past 2 members of Torgal's Tuskers who are still having a conversation towards the foyer outside of Swordmaster Gelmar's office. One last thing, though, before we leave Ornan. Ornan, I want you to make a perception check as you've walked through and kind of looked around and seen what there is.
That is a 13.
Okay. As you were walking by, you saw a lot of, like, well-armored, very fierce-looking foes. With your 13, you catch just the glimpse of somebody right across the hall. You know that one of the groups is called the Giants of Gaul, and they're all Goliaths. But right across the hall, right as a well-armored figure moves into the door and shuts it, you see behind him a massive figure.
Oh, I saw the token. It was huge.
Ornan, you did see this figure standing in the locker room just across the hall from you, right before the door shuts. Massive figure. The Giants of Gaul are Goliaths. They approach 8 feet tall. This guy towers above those guys, or at least he would if he was in the same room. He is easily 10 feet tall. He is armored in plate armor, head to toe. You cannot see a face. You can see that in one hand he has somewhere between a longsword and a greatsword, just this massive sword. He's holding it in one hand. In the other hand, he's got what can only be described as a great axe, holding it aloft with one hand. Somebody is kind of talking to him. They have their hands up, and then the door shuts, and you don't see any more. And we are going to follow Kalden down the hall towards Guy. Guy, you see this young man. Ornan, can you describe Kalden for us again? We haven't seen him for a while.
Oh, man, it's been a while. Kalden has really dark hair just past his shoulders and kind of sweeps. You know, he keeps it kind of braided in the back a little bit, but it's mostly kind of messy in the front.
It's almost as lovely as his mother's.
Oh, definitely. He's got very pale skin. He's in blue robes. And he does not have the bearing of a fighter. He is definitely bookish. And he's holding a quill and he's walking down the hallway.
I'd say you guys see each other right about the exact same time.
Guy, is that you?
Calden?
Yes. What are you doing here?
What are you doing here? I mean, it's good to see you.
Yes, of course. It's so good to see you. How have you been?
I've, traveled. You obviously have as well. You're here in Kladvina.
Yes, we're tracking down my mother, and we've found her here in the city.
I saw her.
You did? What was she doing?
She was buttering up the Count and Countess at the Feast of Sweets Feast.
We missed that.
Oh, you missed a party.
Really?
Oh, I mean, yeah, there was pie and everything.
Oh, that would have been interesting.
You're looking well.
You look great, Guy.
Even though my helmet is down, I'm telling everybody I made a vow, but the whole elf thing here in Kladvina, it's not going over super great, so I'm just keeping it all contained.
Yeah, I understand. I've thought about you a lot. I mean, I didn't know if I was going to ever see you again, but I kind of hoped.
Oh, yeah? Oh, hey, Mr. Gelmar.
He's all, don't mind me, as he walks right between you
Their
guys.
faces are like inches apart.
Just so for listeners, Paul just slowly stepped Swordmaster Gelmar down the hall and in between our tokens as our characters were talking to each other. I'm just gonna go over here.
You also notice that those two orcs from Torgal's Tuskers have moved back out of the hall and are back now in the more barracks area. They even closed the door to the barracks behind them.
So what are you doing in the city? What brings you all the way out here?
Well, dreams.
That doesn't answer much.
So, thinking back, did we tell Calden about the dreams at all?
I just did a re-listen, and I do not recall that conversation ever happening.
Well, Margrim, Ornan, Sylvie, and I, we have a shared bond. It's more, I guess there's nobody around. I'm nervous to share.
I don't really understand what happened between us after we traveled to Redlam, but you can trust me. I want you to know you can trust me.
Here's the deal. I think you're really cute, and you're really smart, and I had just gotten out of a relationship, a very toxic one apparently, with your mother.
Yes,
that's what happened. That's what happened.
Oh,
so
well, I can see how that would be awkward. Yeah, okay.
Anyway,
it's fine.
This is the most awkward conversation I've ever had in a role-playing game.
Yeah, you really went the honesty route there a little bit hard.
I'm sorry. I've been preparing for this all day, so
I didn't know this was happening. So
Perfect.
Anyway, Sylvie, Ornan, Margrim, and I have these shared dreams. We dream the lives of persons who lived hundreds of years ago, and this sounds crazy. It sounds crazy, but it's true. They are still alive. One of them is here, and one is approaching here.
Do you need help with anything? How can I help?
What are we doing? I need to talk to Sylvie. I need to talk to Ornan. Do you think they'll let me back there?
I was ushered out. I don't know that they will.
You hear from behind the door, only people who are actually competing can be back there now.
Brutal.
I'm not listening to your conversation, though.
Dude, the Swordmaster really likes to not mind his own business, dude. He's at the door listening for the
Just doing paperwork back here at my desk. Okay, after this fight, after Ornan wins, I think we need to reevaluate our priorities here in town. You know how there's like dead animals that are like attacking and like the streets are worse and the necropurge is like awful and
yes.
escalating?
The city is in a horrible state right now.
Yeah, that is the result of two of these persons that I described coming together. They seem to have...
Wait, so you see them in your dreams and you've met them?
Oh, we killed one, and I think he's still alive because he's a very powerful necromancer or lich or something.
This sounds dangerous, Guy.
It's extremely dangerous. I'm very brave.
I know.
Gold star for me.
You defeated those Gricks so deftly. I just know that you can take care of yourself.
Yeah. Oh, geez, I don't know what to say. Well, okay.
Is he blushing under his helmet right now?
Yeah, but his visor's closed, so now he's just hemming and hawing. This is not the situation Guy tends to find himself in. Usually it's an ex-lover, not like a will they, won't they, and usually Guy is like not a jerk, but kind of dismissive, but this is a different situation, so he's kind of out of his element.
Calden is smitten, like absolutely adores Guy.
Wait till he gets to know me.
Well, Calden, you would know that this is probably the closest you've been to finding your mom yet. And you would also know that the Feast of Sweets tournament, that there's a very real possibility that she will be here, especially if, like Guy said, she's been hanging out with Count Romuald Orzel, who is like the head of the city right now while the Baroness is away. There's a very real possibility that she will be there as his guest, potentially, in one of the booths. So, yes, there are things going on with the undead and the undead animals and just like the confluence of auras like we talked about last time. But there's also your mom, who is so
the
close.
The confluence of horrors, more like.
Oh, wow. Wow.
But it's true. Yes. So, Calden, you feel, just like Guy and Sylvie and Ornan have been feeling this pull. Like, why are we going to the pie eating contest when there's also this thing that's happening? You feel this, which one is more important? Which way should you go? Probably is what you're feeling.
And it's funny that we chose
the
pie eating contest.
Was the way to go. Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
Oh, yes. And that was the right choice. I just want to make that clear.
I'm not saying
no
I'm not saying
regrets.
anything. Yeah.
Okay. So about your mother, that's also very pressing. Swordmaster Gelmar actually is in the know. I informed him. Yeah, at the pie eating contest, I informed him that your mother was a Baal worshiper and that she should be investigated and that she's wanted for murder in Beregrad.
That sentence you just said, I don't know that sentence has ever been said. At the pie eating contest, I talked to Swordmaster Gelmar and told him that your mom's a Baal worshiper.
Somebody had to.
Paul, you're the one who decided to actually have a pie eating contest after like a one-off joke about will there be a pie eating contest?
It's the Feast of Sweets feast. Okay, blame me. That's all good. Well, Sylvie would be you know that Guy, that Sylvie would be probably heading back to the hotel at this point for lunch.
Okay, why don't you come with me? We're staying at the Grand Towers.
The Grand Towers? No way.
Well, I mean, you could afford it. You have your family's
sure, but
estate and everything.
I don't carry that kind of money around with me.
Oh.
Most of it's tied up in the estate.
Oh. Well, we just kind of get paid for what we do on the road and...
You get extra if you bleed.
Yeah, you get extra if you bleed. We've had some windfall and we decided to, have some comfort here. Let's go back to the hotel. We'll meet Sylvie there, and I'll fill you in on everything.
Lead the way.
You won't see Malgrim. Remember that guy who was,
Yes, the pale one.
Pale one, all the black leather.
Yes.
Yeah, he's recovering right now. He had a near-death experience.
Well, send him my best when you see him.
Okay. All right. Let's head to the. Let's meet up with Sylvie.
Okay.
All right. You guys hop out of the Tempestarium. You guys go find yourselves a gondola. You happen to find Big Handsy Andy is still
Nice.
available. And he's like, hey there, you need a ride back across the river? I can take you where you need to go. Where you headed?
To the Grand Towers Hotel.
Oh, la-di-da. And then he starts,
La-di-da indeed.
he starts paddling you guys down the Great Serpent Canal, and he takes you to the dock that's closest to the Grand Towers Hotel. As you and Calden approach this beautiful building, 4 towers, one on each corner, this expensive, beautiful building, you can see that there are people coming and going. It seems like people are heading out of the tower, and it looks like they're heading to find their own gondolas to head towards the Tempestarium. And you guys move into the lobby as you see that Sylvie has actually gotten here just a little bit before you, and she is in the lobby as well. And Baldric is with her.
Ooh.
So Baldric's like, yeah, I mean, so like when I flex, I don't know. It's just like it really, see, can you feel it's like this? I don't know what's going on with my muscles. Do you feel that?
That's
feel that?
really impressive. I can't imagine what's going on there. Oh, look.
Maybe someday I'll play you that song I wrote.
They call this one the gluteus maximus.
Anyway, yeah, so, anyway. Oh,
Hey, Sylvie!
Calden's here. That's,
I found Calden.
Sylvie, how are you?
Is this going to be a really awkward double date? Oh, man.
Oh, my gosh. A double date while the end of the world is literally right around the corner. I imagine you guys all touch base. You guys, you introduce Baldric the Black. You guys have this little conversation here in the lobby, and then you guys go up to your room for a little bit of privacy to kind of discuss what it is you guys want to do.
So we have Vandalay Industries, and what else do we want to do?
Danon went off by herself. Last time she went out to meet with the druids, she came back beat up. Now, Jib Jab is
She
out
came back
there.
beat up, but in good spirits.
Right, but now Jib Jab's out there even closer, and Bubbles' aura is amplified, or at least no longer held back. She's heading someplace really dangerous, and I feel like that's where we were supposed to be going too.
Do we need to check on her?
Baldric goes, well, it sounds like they're coming here. Maybe they'll just come to us.
I mean, maybe we should meet them slightly outside of the city at least, if we can.
And what was this about Vandalay? Did you have somewhere to go?
I'm supposed to meet with
The prettiest girl in the world.
Oh.
He's got to do an errand for her.
Oh.
You know that would be in about 4 hours.
Yeah, in a few hours I need to meet with a widow whose husband was the victim of foul play with Vandalay Industries, and Prancival and I were going to see if we can't do some espionage. Isn't that right, boy? And I'm gonna again start scritching his chin and around his ears and try to take that hat and bow tie off of him because he's not going to be super incognito.
And he nips at your fingers again.
Prancival, you naughty boy!
And he curls up underneath the couch.
He loves that hat.
So widows, is that like your thing?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
We did some work with her brother, Neldor Martin. You may have heard he won the pie eating contest. Very important person here in town now. They gave him a medal and everything. We've worked with him a few times. Helped him out in Martin's Rest.
Oh, the Martins from Martin's Rest.
Are you familiar? You know them?
Well, I've heard their name.
Yeah, Shireen is the sister. Shadow Rose.
Widow.
Yes, the widow. The Dowager Shadow Rose. Isn't a dowager like an old lady, though?
I think it's somebody who's living off of like a pension or something like that, like from her husband's estate or something like that. I'm not exactly sure. I might be making that up.
We'll just say she's a dowager, sure. But her name is Shireen, Lady Shadow Rose. Anyway, I was thinking of just kind of sending in Prancival all incognito.
Baldric suddenly sits bolt upright and he goes, "Wait a minute, Guy. Wait a minute. That woman that you used to date is his mom?"
Oh, yeah. Thanks for bringing that up, Baldric.
Yes.
He's going to elbow him.
Yes, that's.
Okay, you know what? And it's a lot grosser than just dating. I'm gonna just be honest. It's a lot grosser than that. I've grown as a person over the past month or two. Oh, you want details?
No.
No.
I got elbowed by Sylvia. I'm keeping my mouth shut.
Wait, what did Danon's note say?
She just said she was going to go meet with the Druids Council, the Druid Circle, and she said that Jib Jab is getting close.
Okay.
We have a few hours. If we want to look into Nalira, Swordmaster Gelmar, he's on the case, so apparently the entire Council of Clerics is also aware of her unsavory worship practices.
Make an insight check.
Guy got a dirty 20.
Okay. There's a very real possibility that he hasn't had a chance to tell anybody yet.
I do have proof of what she's done, but only someone with knowledge of the arcane is able to read it.
That's a problem.
Yes.
Well, actually, that might not be a problem, but it would require us dealing with the Church of Aona. There is a prelate here who is one of the Order of Navorian, we've noticed. They use forbidden magic as part of their crusade.
It's pretty hypocritical, if we're being honest.
It is, but it could be exactly what you need. Say, hey, I found this thing, and I think it's magical, but I can't do any magic because it's forbidden, but I know that you have been trained to, battle evil with evil, or whatever.
Well, I don't think that will work. Calden opens a book, and he pulls out a bookmark. He says, this is a memory ribbon. And someone who can also use this spell can read my memory of going in there and finding what we found.
Oh. I don't think I know that spell. And I'll pull out my book and start looking through it.
The spell is technically encode thoughts, but they're his memory ribbons.
It's a pensive potion.
Yeah.
I've never seen that spell. I mean, it could be in here, but this book it's like trying to read an old common.
Yes.
Also known as uncommon.
Yes. It's uncommon, but the two M's are put together into one letter, and there's an extra E and an extra U in there.
All the S's look like F's.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure you guys have had this conversation before, but you guys would remember that the Church of Aona, even though it has been against arcane magic for so long, still probably has a vast repository of arcane spells and contraband, basically, that they have taken over the years. So the likelihood that a Navorian spellcaster would have potentially access to some out there spells, or they might have, there might be more of a chance that they would have access to that spell than somebody else who practices arcane magic, just because they have access to this huge library of Aeonan arcane contraband.
Do we think maybe Annalise could help us?
No, guys, there's a fatal flaw in this plan. And I think you know what I'm going to say, Calden. And that is, in order to involve the Church of Aona and share your memory ribbon, it would result in you confessing to being able to use the spell memory ribbon.
I know.
Well, yeah, that's why I thought we would involve, someone who they trust and maybe be able to get something in and out sneakily.
Well, it's true, but the evidence itself can't stand because, Nalira Silvercrest's son, it's his memory, and therefore all they have to do is go back to you, Calden.
Guy, you're in the memory too. We were there together.
That's right, we were. Yes, I was there, unlocking things.
I certainly don't want to perjure ourselves.
Maybe we just burn her with a fireball? Sylvie, you're good at that.
No, I need the evidence. It makes me feel like I can prove it, although it's been difficult so far to actually show it to anyone.
Right. But don't burn the evidence. I mean, burn your mother.
Mommy, to a crisp.
Oh, burn my Matricide. You're suggesting matricide. Yes,
To be fair, it's going to have to happen at some point. Like, she is,
I was saying that flippantly. What do you want, Calden? What do you want for your mother's crimes?
I have spent so much time chasing her that I have put little thought into what I actually want to happen.
My first thought when you said matricide, I'm not going to lie, was, what did that mattress ever do to you? I'm so sorry to derail.
It's all right. Normally we're derailing you, so you can derail us.
Cool. Baldric's like, well, where is she? Why don't we just go and put an end to her now?
She'll be at the tournament.
Oh.
Perhaps with the Baron.
Oh, you mean Count Romuald Orzel?
Yes, with the Count, the Count, not the Baroness.
You remember seeing that she was very close with the Count's wife, the Countess Flidolis.
That sounds like a made-up name.
all names are made up. Do we feel like we know that Nalira is planning on striking during the tournament?
I don't think she's planning to strike at all. I think she's just gathering resources and allies and influence.
In a larger city like this, it's quite possible that there are other followers that she's seeking out. That's what I worry about.
Hey, Baldric, have you heard anything about Baal worship in your time in the skeezier parts of town and those bars and things you perform in?
I've heard people talking about ball worship, but that's a different thing. As he plucks a chord, bling bling.
Bling bling, that's not a chord. That's two
As
notes.
he plucks two notes, bling bling. Bling.
Beautiful. You play beautifully.
Thank you.
We could always try to find information on the Count and Countess. If they're at the tournament as well, perhaps we could go to their estate.
Baldric says, I know where they live.
We could snoop around.
So we're going to do a caper, then another caper, and then go to see a show.
What's the worst that could happen?
Oh, don't say that. Terrible things have happened.
I'm not sure. I mean, if a caper is a capin, I'm down to cape. But if I mean, I don't. It seems like a lot of work to look for evidence on these folks if we don't even really know how close they are with Nalira. Maybe it would be better to find Danon and see if we can prevent as much necro chaos from happening as possible. But I'm down to cape. Don't. I mean, if that's what we're doing, like, I'm not trying to be a stick in the mud.
Right.
I have the ability to. It's a higher spell. It's one that I've just barely mastered, but I can see things from a distance of about 30 feet away, and remain fairly undetected.
Well, that's pretty sick.
So Baldric says, so you mean you get close to your mom at the tournament, or are you thinking like seeing over the walls of the estate, or what are you thinking?
Either way, it has a range of about 30 feet, and then I can read in my book here everything that I focus on. It's the spell Arcane Eye.
Right.
So that would require us getting close. Again, she's probably going to be at the tournament. Anyone who's anyone will be at the tournament this time.
Well, maybe we go to the tournament and we can spy on her there. That was my intention.
Okay. And I have a cute little dog that can also sneak up and look around. And I always kept him secret from her. Like, he was never in the house, so I don't know if she'd recognize him.
Especially not in his dashing disguise.
She seemed like the kind of person who wouldn't like pets.
Oh, no, it wasn't her. I mean, it never even brought it up with her. It was the rest of your... Oh. I know. Yeah, I was... And I won't speak ill of how much they hated my dog's hair on the carpet.
Yes. I have little fondness for them either, but they were people.
Oh, actually, Calden, you loved them. They were like
Actually,
your parents.
I loved them. They were more parents to me than my mother, so...
Right.
I'm still quite shaken up about it. I'm so shaken up that I forgot. I loved them so much.
Sometimes you have to block out the trauma, I get you.
Yes. I have memory ribbons of them as well.
Guy will turn to Baldric and kind of whisper in his ear, and he's like, and that is why nothing ever happened between the two of us. It's all so awkward.
He's like, yeah, this is awkward. Well, I guess we're going to the Tempestarium. He walks over to you, Sylvia, and he kind of holds out his arm. He's like, shall we go?
Yeah, Sylvia will take his arm and stroll right on out.
He, as you guys leave, he leans over towards you and goes, I got to get out of there. That is the most awkward situation I have ever been in my life.
I feel ya. If I was ever had a crush on somebody, I certainly would not make it that awkward. Let me tell you what. And then Sylvia will pat his arm gently.
So, and then just Calden and Guy left in the room. Guy will look around awkwardly for a little bit and then pick up Principal so his arms are full.
Oh God!
And then start walking out.
It's fine. I all right.
But what's fine? I don't understand.
Nothing. I've got this book, and Calden will pull out his spell book and just browse through it.
Just it's all normal stuff.
You guys awkwardly head down out of the Grand Towers Hotel, and now you head to hitch a ride back towards the Tempestarium. You see that now countless gondolas are traveling down the Great Serpent in the direction of the Tempestarium. You see that people are excited. You see kids in some of these gondolas with their parents, and they're holding up little pennants.
Wait, there's countless gondolas, so name some of them.
Yeah. Yo.
There's Wintergreen. There's Prancin' Pony. There was Timberline Lodge.
Just start naming movies.
Deadpool and Wolverine.
Cody Big Boat Face.
Oh yeah, no, you see just like a lot of gondolas heading down. Some of them are painted fanciful colors. You do see a ways off. You do see Little Butter is heading away with the Little Butter brothers. But yeah, you see like kids that are holding up pennants, and there's just this buzz in the air of excitement. But you also can sense this kind of fear as well. As you look around, you can't help but notice an increase in armed people moving through the city. You see some of these Ram's Head mercenaries in their pink and black armor are patrolling. You see that there are more of these Kladvinian sailors that are paddling up and down the canal. You actually see that there are a couple of guards that look like they are and they're kind of crowded around one area. You can see that somebody's like kind of holding their head, and you can see that these guards are clearing an area and saying, "Oh, nothing to see here, nothing to see here. Move along, move along." It seemed like there was some sort of a skirmish of some kind, not very far here from the docks, close to the Grand Towers Hotel. So even though it is no longer nighttime, it seems like there is still potentially some danger here in the city. So you're looking for a gondola.
Yes, and preferably a new one.
Yes.
Timberline Lodge looked like a good one.
Oh, okay, yeah. So Timberline Lodge. It is. Oh my gosh.
It's a hotel in the mountains.
There is this gondola. It's not painted like the other ones are. It's just all very kind of rough wood. You see that the guy who is paddling it, he's got this big, thick beard. You can see that he is wearing the medieval equivalent of like a checkered flannel shirt, and he's like, "All right, guys, where you want to be going?"
Yeah, we're gonna go take in a fight at the Tempestarium.
Well, hop on in to the Timberline Lodge, and I'll take you to the Tempestarium.
Okay.
All right, as you guys are paddling down the Great Serpent, you hear this guy talking. He's like, "Yeah, you got to be careful because there have been things reaching up out of the canal last night and this morning, trying to get their grips on some living folk. So you guys got to be careful, okay?"
Reaching up, like with hands or tentacles or
fins? like spooky claw hands and stuff, like skeletons.
Oh no, not spooky claw hands.
Spooky skeletons.
It's like, yeah, you gotta be careful. I've heard reports that there are people, especially at night. Last night it was really rough. Things are coming out of the water. Things are trying to get past the castle walls up on the north end, and just stay safe and stay together.
Have you heard? Have they closed the gates or anything, or are they letting people in and out of the city still?
I think the gates are closed. So, yeah.
Wasn't your friend trying to get out of the gates to get to the druids?
Oh, she's a druid as well, so she wouldn't have any issue. She could turn into some kind of a giant spider with a butt rope and climb walls like with ease. I've heard that's how they do it. Anytime they want to get in or out of a city, there's just spiders and butt rope.
Right, definitely no flying. That seems like it would be inconvenient.
Spider butt rope? That's from the play Unlikely.
Like, that seems unsanitary. That seems unsanitary.
I
As
don't
he
know.
keeps battling down the great serpent. All right. He drops you guys off. It says, all right, thanks for your patronage. And then he holds out a hand.
High five. I'll toss him a gold.
Oh, thank you kindly.
Calden will give him a gold, because I don't
fantastic.
track his money.
If you don't track his money, that means you don't have any. All right, yeah, you guys see the Tempestarium. Again, you guys are now... Sylvia, this is your first time being up here at the Tempestarium. You see this large, round building. You see that, dotting around the building, there are... not entrances. You can see that there's like one main entrance on the south side, but you can see that there's statues of warriors surrounding the building. You see that it kind of looks like the Roman Colosseum, but if it wasn't like all in ruins, but also less airy, less like there's arches and stuff, but it's like arches up against like a solid stone wall. And you can see that it's very, very tall. It's multiple stories high. You can actually see like right around the top, you can actually see like flags waving of like the people who are filling the stands, and they're already like filling up all the way to the nosebleed section.
This place is hopping.
It is. And this place is massive. This is the largest building in town, for sure. You guys head back towards the Tempestarium entrance. We can fast forward a little bit of this because we've just been like this whole time.
It was so much fun, though.
I love
Building
it. I love
ambiance.
it. Yes.
Yeah, there's the awkwardness that's been. This is going to be cathartic for a lot of our listeners. The whole Guy and Calden, will they, won't they? Apparently, it's still will they, won't they?
Yes. All right. I am going to take you guys to the actual Tempestarium. You guys buy tickets to get in. The question I have for you guys is, do you want close-up booths? Do you guys just want like general admission? You guys won't be able to get into the box seats. Those are reserved seats for like clergy and the court of knights, the court of clerics, that kind of thing. But do you guys want to like just do general admission, or do you guys want to like try to force your way up to the front, or do you guys want to what's your plan?
I mean, if we can pay for like some slightly nicer seating, I feel like that's good value. I'm sure it's hard to see over all y'all.
If you guys want to pop down 5 gold apiece, you guys can have front row.
I want to be on the same side as the booths. What I want to do is like just like Calden, he wants to be within 30 feet. I want to be within 100 feet.
Okay. So here is the deal. When you guys buy your tickets, we'll say that you guys buy your tickets for the front row. You can see that as you come up actually in the north entrance. You take these stairs in the lobby area, and they kind of zigzag up, and then you come out on the north between two big, huge sets of stadium seating that goes all the way up to the edge of the building, way up high. On the map that I have here, it only shows, I think, like 3 or 4 rows of seats, but it goes back at least 20 rows all the way up to the top. This place fits thousands of people. But the first thing you notice is that the center of this arena is about 40 feet down, and the ground, it looks like it's stone covered with like piles and piles and piles of sand. You can see that in the middle of this arena, you see that right in the very middle, there is some sort of a raised kind of metal platform with a large wooden hatch. It looks like that is how the contestants get into the arena.
Man, I'm so glad we're not fighting here. This looks way above my pay grade.
Well, you can see that there are a couple of like ruined buildings, and as you're looking, it doesn't look like these were built to be ruined. It looks like these actually are old buildings that have been in this arena for a very, very long time. You see there's like two houses that are kind of broken down, just like the stone walls are still standing in places. You see that there was some kind of a shrine off to the northeast section where you can still see like some statues sticking out of the sand. But you can also see like around the edges, you can see where the sand is kind of cleared away and you can see stone underneath. You see that there are also entrances into the actual arena down below on the north, south, east, and west. But up here, regular seating surrounds this pit on the north, the west, and the south. And then all of the booths are on the east side. The northernmost booth on the east side has a red awning. And as you kind of peek in there, you're pretty sure you catch a glimpse of Swordmaster Gelmar. It looks like that might be basically like the judge's pavilion. Where he is, you see another couple of armored figures, either followers of Tempest or some other warriors who are in there with him. And then further down on that east side, you can see that there are three pavilions. Two of them have green awnings, and one of them has a gold, like a cloth of gold awning. And you can see that in one of the green awnings, one to the north, you see a couple of people that you recognize. You are far, far away, but as you're squinting, and you guys are young, you guys don't have eyes like me, Archprelate Agnes is sitting in one of these green awnings, sitting next to that same older gentleman that she was sitting with at brunch yesterday, as well as you saw him at the Feast of Sweets Feast. You see his wife. So he is this kind of stocky, he looks like he was an old soldier. He's got a nice, it's like a long beard, like down to his clavicle, his collarbone, but it's well trimmed and taken care of, but it's all white. He's got like no hair on the top of his head. His wife is this beautiful older woman in a very nice dress. Her hair's all done up in curls. That is the northernmost green awning booth. In the central booth, you can see underneath this cloth of gold, you see that there are these two folks who were sitting with Nalira. You see this older kind of tan-skinned man with a thin, kind of lean man with a well-trimmed beard. And you see his wife, who last time Guy saw her, she was giving Nalira a very big hug at the Feast of Sweets Feast. And then in the southernmost booth, you can see the rest of the Council of Clerics. You can see Professor Grimskank. You can you can see the woman who was dancing by herself. Dancing by. You see the gnomish woman who is the high priestess of Selune, and you see the Morning Lord of Lathander, and they are all sitting in a booth as well. And lastly, you see the stands are filled, but you see standing in the center of the pit, you see the first bout of the morning. You see lined up on one side of this hatch, you see the Giants of Gaul, and on the other side, you see these figures who must be the Razorwind Warband. You can see that massive figure, the 10-foot tall figure who has a sword and an axe in one in each hand. You see that there is a knight there. You see there's a guy with a spear. You see another guy with a spear who's wearing kind of like leather armor.
I'm so f***ing upset that there's no Dave and the Giant Pickle gifs on Discord.
I take it that's a VeggieTales thing.
Hell yeah, brother.
As you guys enter in, you can hear Swordmaster Gelmar has just finished a speech, and he says, "And now, may Tempest watch over you. 1 minute begins now." And then as he says that, then you see both groups of figures start to spread out around the arena. You see one of the Giants of Gaul goes and hides in one of these buildings, kind of taking cover. You see Gaul and this other guy have kind of moved off to one side. You see that the big dude on the Razorwind Warband is just kind of hanging out right there, kind of looking around as that knightly looking person in the Razorwind Warband, he taps the giant guy and he says, hey, come on, let's go. And then they start moving, shadowing Gaul and this other warrior. And after 60 seconds, you hear this big gong as then battle begins and both sides rush towards each other. And there is a huge cheer and shout as the first match of the afternoon begins. So what do you guys want to do? If you were paying attention, nowhere did I describe Nalira Silvercrest.
Yeah, I'm not seeing her anywhere.
Yeah, I don't see her either.
So why don't you guys make investigation checks or perception checks as you guys are scanning the crowd trying to figure out what's going on?
All right, Sylvie got a 17 investigation.
Calden got an 11 investigation.
And Guy got a 12 perception.
Baldric the Black got a 12 perception as well. He leans over, gives you a high five, Guy. Okay, so as you guys are looking around, and it's so loud, the cheering is so loud, there's so many people, flags waving in your face, you can see pennants that are, people are going, get him, Gaul, get him, and someone's like, I like the big guy. It's hard to focus, but Sylvie, you are starting to glance around, and your first instinct is, okay, where was Nalira last night? Who was she with? Guy described her as being really, really friendly with the Countess Flidolis Orzel.
I'm taking the clues and I'm putting them in my handy dandy notebook, and I'm thinking.
You're going to sit in your thinking chair?
I'm going to think.
Well, you are the Bloodhound. Sylvie, with your investigation check, I will say you see Count Orzel and you see his wife. They are sitting there watching the fighting, and you see that the Countess has her hand on the Count's forearm.
Canoodling in public? That's not appropriate, Paul.
When you see the Countess kind of pull her hand back as the Count goes back to watching the fight, with your 17 investigation, you notice you're far away. You are far away, and yet you still can sense there is something not right with her hand. And it's just a little glitch. And as you notice it, suddenly you can see through an illusion that she is wearing. And you see, sitting next to the Count is not the Countess. You see Nalira is sitting in the seat next to the Count.
Oh no.
You guys, I think it's an illusion. It's a trick. That's definitely Nalira in the box with that Count.
Do you suppose he knows, or has she replaced his wife?
I didn't like the way she touched him. She put her hand on his forearm very comfortably.
If I can get a little closer, are you certain it's an illusion?
It might be a trick, but yeah, it's one or the other.
Illusions, Dad. If I can get closer, I could perhaps dispel it.
Would that do anything? It's not like she's exactly a wanted criminal.
Yeah, if his wife suddenly disappeared and you were sitting next to Nalira, my mother.
Only if everybody's paying attention to them when it happens. I feel like if only one or nobody sees it, it could be pulled off. I feel like we would need to create some sort of opposite of a distraction on them.
Do you think the Count realizes that his wife has been replaced? Because if not, then that alone could be enough to prove that Nalira Silvercrest is here and up to no good.
Well, now that you have all recognized that is Nalira, I want insight from everybody else. And Sylvie, you can make another insight as well.
Ooh, Guy got a 19.
Calden got a 10.
So we got that one.
Okay. And Baldric got a 12. Okay. So as you guys are kind of thinking this through, Guy, you are trying to kind of read the body language. Now that you know what to look for, you can kind of see, you can't see through the illusion, but you can see that there is some kind of a glamour over this woman. And obviously you trust Sylvie, and you start to think through like what's going on. And maybe it's just like your heightened senses as you are trying to focus and be empathetic towards what's going on over there.
Wait, are you saying Guy has high emotional intelligence?
You feel a pressure.
Oh, God.
You feel a pressure as it was described earlier by Sylvie's dream of Jib Jab. And I think that, Guy, you also felt some sort of pressure back in the swamp. And the only reason why you recognized the pressure was gone was because you were in the domain of those three sisters in the swamp. You feel a building pressure, almost like behind your eyes or in the bridge of your nose, like your sinuses are not stuffy, but you can feel in your gums that tension, that stress, and you feel two auras overlapping, and you can feel that turbulence that those auras are making in the psyche of the city. Suddenly, just now, it spiked a little bit. It's getting stronger.
Okay, bad news, everyone. I don't have any insight about Nalira specifically, but I think that Jib Jab and Bubbles are getting closer to each other.
The auras are overlapping?
Yes.
Guy, is there any way you could get if you could get Prancival up there to bring everyone's attention to the two of them? I could perhaps dispel her glamour while everyone's looking.
Oh, yes. Prancival is a good boy, and he's really good at making a scene.
Yes, I am.
Wait, what?
You're Prancival?
Wait, did that really happen?
No.
You gotta stop eating so many sandwiches, if you know what I mean.
You can see though when you say that Prancival is like a good boy, you see that little bum starts wagging like crazy. Just wiggle bum.
Okay, so let's get closer. Can we sit on the front row, kind of at the far eastern edge of the front row, or even stand there?
Yeah, you can see that. Yeah, you can see that right on the edge where the commoners sit, relative to where the actual like pavilions are, where the booths are. You can see that there's like a cloth has been stretched across to separate the commoners from the important folk, and you see there's two guards that are watching the entrance. It looks like they're not letting anyone in, but it is just like a cloth. It's not like an actual wall.
Right. Okay, I just want to be within 100 feet so that I can still see through Prancival's eyes. So it'd be like, ooh, that's still
We'd
too
have to
far.
be a little closer. Yeah, I measured it already. I've got to be basically next to the guards, blocking the path in order to be in range.
Yeah, the Tempestarium is huge.
Okay. All right, everybody, here we go. Do it,
Wait,
boy.
is this as close as we're going to get? We don't want to get any closer?
I don't know how we can get any closer. They're blocking the way.
Well, my plan is to stand on the corner here, and Calden will point to the edge of the curtain. I'd be just barely within range.
Baldric turns to you guys and he says, "Do you need like some kind of a distraction?"
Are you volunteering?
No, the distraction is we need everyone's attention on the Count and Countess.
The opposite of a distraction.
Okay, here's the deal. I can give Prancival some direction. He's a good boy. He understands the, magical construct. So he understands better than a normal dog. But I won't be able to see and communicate with him through my mind at that distance. So he basically would be going off of the directions I give him. Is everyone okay with that?
Yeah, I think it just needs to be enough people looking in their general direction, paying attention to them. So he should definitely be on her lap, maybe barking or something, but yeah.
Okay. I'm going to pick up Prancival. I'm going to pick up my good little boy. I'm going to tell him, okay, you see that? Yeah, you're colorblind. You're a dog. Middle awning. And I'm going to just carefully point my finger toward the middle awning there with the Count and faux Countess, and say, I need you to go up there, and I need you to, that lady up there, pretend like she's on fire, and you're trying to warn her that she's about to burn to death.
Prancival's making eye contact with you through your helmet, like boring into your skull, and then you see Prancival raise one back leg.
Yes, you could pee on her.
That is what he would do if she was on fire.
And he jumps down out of your hands. He jumps down out of your hands. Are you going to boop him in and out, or is he just going to go running through the entry?
He's actually... I'm going to set him beside me on the bench, and I'm going to wait for an opportune time for him to, sneak in there. I'm afraid that booping him in and out, there's somebody I can't see who might see him. But after I set him here on the bench next to me, he disappears.
Oh, he is gone.
He's invisible.
All right. Guy, you know where he goes instinctively because he's yours. And because you cast the spell of invisibility, you still don't see him.
I did not cast the spell of invisibility.
You did not?
Pranciple leveled up.
What?
Pranciple is gone, as far as you guys can tell. How far does that... Pranciple can be invisible then as long as he wants, even if he's not within 100 feet of you?
Yeah. I'm just going to read the description here. Pranciple has a +5 stealth and also has the ability to can cast invisibility on himself, requiring no spell components, and using charisma as the spellcasting ability. And he's a handsome little boy, so you know his charisma's awesome.
The most charismatic.
It's a 10.
He is a handsome little boy.
I love that he still has the hat on. It's just amazing.
All right. Pranciple is gone. Kaldvin, you wanted to get closer?
Basically, the range ends like right next to the guard, the southern guard here. So if I could like lean against the wall here or here,
Oh, okay.
like not beyond it. But
Sylvie will go up and try to flirt with the guard.
Before Pranciple gets too far away for me to control, like to communicate with him, I'll just say, hold there for a second, buddy. And I'm going to tell everybody else, do we want to wait for the fight to end and the cheering to die down? Or do we want to interrupt the fight? Because people will be paying attention to the fight more than they'd be paying attention to a screaming woman.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming the fight's not going to last too much longer.
I mean, our fights literally last, like, at most 30 seconds.
Exactly. Look, I can't imagine they've got a lot of stamina compared to us. We're pretty tough.
You see that the big dude, as you kind of like are talking, you see the big dude is just like laying waste, just swinging axe and sword. You also see like zero skill, just brute strength.
I think they put some armor on a hill giant.
Not quite hill giant size.
Ogre.
Eeh.
a bugbear, maybe?
Bigger than a bugbear.
Oh, really? Okay.
Definitely his parentage is a little suspect.
Yeah, I would say that Kaldvin, while Kaldvin was in the barracks area, he did see that one of the competitors is a bugbear, and this guy is bigger than that.
Wow.
Yeah, this guy's 10 feet tall, easily. So, are you guys waiting, or are you guys making your move?
I think waiting is probably the best idea if we want everyone to notice.
As soon as the fight's over.
As soon as the cheering dies down, like maybe even when the swordmaster announces the winner and everybody's listening to the swordmaster.
That's a good idea.
Perfect.
I'm going to communicate that to Pranciple. It's like, as soon as all the fighting dies down and the cheering's done and that man in the armor, you heard him before, when he starts to yell out the results of the fight, that's when you pee.
Okay. Oh gosh. All right. You guys watch the fight then for a little bit. It seems like the Razorwind Warband is putting up a valiant effort, but one by one they go down. One of the Giants of Gaul goes down, but there's still 3 standing, and the only one of the Razorwind Warband still standing is this 10-foot tall behemoth of a figure just swinging crazily. You can hear, even over the cheers of the crowd, you hear these roars of anger and of pain as he gets hit from left and right, but then continues to swing all about him. You see Lywix is kind of hanging back. She's got this glaive in her hand, and then she rushes in to batter at him and then backs up again. And as you guys are kind of getting caught up in the battle, Guy, that pressure that you felt earlier, you feel it rise again.
Something's coming, everyone.
Sylvie, you feel it as well. Kaldvin, you feel something behind your eyes, a pressure. Not so much like you're going to get a headache. It's just like you can feel the barometric pressure is changing, and quickly. Baldric looks around at you guys questioningly, and as you guys look around the stands, you can see that not everybody, but a few people are starting to look around and kind of hold their head a little bit, and you see people kind of starting to whisper to each other. And as you guys are waiting for the battle to end, suddenly, reaching out of the sand, you see towards the middle, you see poof, a hand reach out of the sand, or it was a hand at one point.
Oh, good lord.
now nothing but bones, as pulling itself out of the sand, a long dead warrior lost in the sands of the Tempestarium from ages past pulls himself out, as then another over in another corner starts to pull themselves out. You see suddenly something rise up out of the sand on 4 legs. It is a horse. Nothing left on it but barely any strips of leathery meat and just bones.
This place is not very sanitary, just leaving these bodies in here.
This place has been around for a while. You see figures starting to rise up out of the sand as the 3 still standing giants of Gaul and then this huge man named Braz, as they look around themselves and see that instead of fighting each other, there is some very real danger beginning to erupt here in the sand. The crowd grows quiet. There is a hush. Pranciful pees on Nalira's leg and nobody notices.
Oh no.
God damn it.
I know, I'm so pissed. Come on.
We had the perfect plan.
The crowd has gone so quiet you can actually hear sounds from the city beyond the walls as you begin to hear shouts and screams coming from the city. You hear the blare of a war horn, but it sounds broken. It sounds off. It sounds flat. You hear more war horns. You hear the brazen trumpets of the defenders of the city blast back a note in response to these war calls from these long dead trumpets. And that is where we're going to stop for tonight. Three hours earlier, moving through the streets of Kladvina, coming down through Bog's End Castle, a procession arrives, led by an armored figure on horseback. You see figures in black leather ulster cloaks. You see plague masks hanging from belts. Some are still being worn. You see arms in slings. You see that they are carrying some figures on stretchers. You see that there are also wagons being pulled full of dead. The Krahanest has returned to Kladvina, and it looks like they have taken a beating. At the head of this group, a figure armored in elaborate plate armor. You can see that she has a black cloak pulled up over her head. You see her hair has turned gray, her skin still pale, scars along her face, more aged and faded than the last time we saw her, way back in a tale of Via Severia, as now Lord Inquisitor Tirana leads the wounded of the Krahanest through Kladvina.
Damn.
Alongside her, we see a couple of other familiar figures. We see a dwarf. Hair is black with some gray peppered in. You can see that the beard has been kept short. You can see that the blacks that this dwarf wears are a little more worn with time and with wear and tear of being out in the woods and being out patrolling and scouting. We see Miska.
You can tell it's Miska because he goes, bleh.
And alongside Miska, you see somebody who we never thought we'd see again. We see a 67-year-old human with receding hair, all gone white, a goatee.
Dove.
Or Dove.
We see that while he wears a black ulster cloak, the sleeves have been ripped off. You see lean muscle, but you see that aged skin that you see on older folks, even the very, very fit ones. You see Dov has arrived back in Kladvina as the Krahanest forces arrive in Kladvina just in time for the confluence of auras of Bubbles and Jib Jab.
Don't worry, guys. Dov will take care of this. He's pretty cool.
I'm pretty sure you said there's no way he would survive more than 5 years with the way he lives.
He's got a little bit of liver damage, but you know.
He's been keeping young by punching drywall.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, guys. All right. Well, hey, thank you guys for playing.
Remember last time when you all thought we were going to play as the B-side in the tournament this session, and then it turns out next time we may be Inquisitors? I have no idea, guys. I have no idea. Paul's keeping us guessing.
I played the B-side.
Oh, that's true.
One thing you guys do know is that the long-awaited reunion of Bubbles and Jib Jab appears to be happening right now in the city.
In the city.
At least it didn't happen during the pie eating contest. I feel like that
I
really would have thrown us off.
I mean, to be fair, we didn't even get close to winning, so we kind of already were thrown off.
Oh, man.
You put up a pretty valiant effort, but Neldor was unstoppable. Anyway, hey, thank you guys for listening. Next time,
Unpieable.
Unpieable.
I don't know.
next time we get together, we will see what kind of craziness happens as two members of the original Dream Team meet. And don't forget, we have a Discord. Come talk with us about everything that happened in this episode. Also, share your theories. Also, share how much you hate Nalira and the fact that me, Paul, that I ruined a perfect plan.
It was so great.
It was a great plan.
I asked if you guys wanted to wait, and you guys said yes.
You know what, though? Even if we had exposed her right then, we still would have had the undead rising within seconds of it.
But you would have at least had a count who knew that his wife was not who he thought she was, potentially.
I'm not sure. I don't think he's in on it.
If I was within 100 feet, I could have cast a spell through Prancival and had him do a Thunderbite.
Oh. That's pretty great.
All right. Well, hey, next time we get together, we will see what happens. And until that next time we get together, we hope you have a great time.
I know I will.